Okay, members and friends, I'm going to call this one psychological warfare because this is what it is. And it's been like this from the first day they came into my house and they said, we're calling the cops, we're going to rustle you up and take the baby out of here if you don't kick out your daughter. You choose. It's a hard choice, but you choose between your grandson or your daughter. That was December 11th. I just realized something. For this social worker to sit up there and say she didn't know about today, and she got the prosecutor, a brown Punjabi, I'm thinking probably a Punjabi woman, right? I don't think she was Hindu. I don't think she was East Indian. She was probably a Punjabi. You're not supposed to be here. Why are you here? Don't come in. Don't come into the courtroom. You're not allowed. We want to talk to the judge ourselves. I said to Sierra's lawyer, I said, well, what's going on? Like, it says right there my name. I'm allowed in there. Oh, well, we got to figure out where everybody's going to sit. That's what he said to me. I said, oh, well, that's not right. Like, you know. And then I went in there and I said, no, I'm allowed to be in here. Like, why do I have to push myself into a courtroom that I was told to be at? When she's scowling at me like she was, like the other woman was scowling in their office. No, you're not allowed in here. We want to talk to the judge by ourselves. And I said, well, ma'am, I was just talking to a lawyer like 2 days ago. I asked if I could maybe go talk to the judge myself, you know, because I was told that I could do that because I'm part of the proceeding or I'm in that mix, right? And then that lawyer said, well, no, that wouldn't be right because it would be kind of like conflict of interest. So, you know, don't get your hopes up there high. So I said to her, I said, well, if I'm not allowed to talk to the judge alone, why are you? Oh, well, so, you know, like they tried to kick me out before I even went in. And my 17-year-old daughter was watching this. And then when we went in, you know, judge asked who she was. And she said, well, you know, she's 17, she's my daughter, blah, blah, blah. And he kicked her out, you know, said she was too young for it. What do you mean she was too young for it? She lives it, for crying out loud. She lives it every day. She's living with the results of today right now. And she's blaming me. Because I'm the closest one and the easiest one to blame. It's safe to blame me. She can holler at me. She can't holler at a social worker. She can't holler at a cop. You know, she can't holler at a judge. She can't go to school and holler at her teachers. Who does she come home and holler at? She hollers at her mother because she feels safe with me. But it's not my fault that the social worker didn't receive the information because neither did the social worker or my daughter's lawyer show up for April 9th, which was the date for the custody hearing. And I don't want to hear, oh, it's guardian now because of the new act. Doesn't matter. I put the application in to have temporary custody or guardianship with my grandson. In those days before the act came in, it was custody. Now the new act is in, it's guardianship. Doesn't negate the fact that I'm still the grandma. And I put that application in on April 23rd of 2010. So my application, that one needs to be dealt with first. So, psychological warfare. Why do I need a Punjabi woman attacking me in a courthouse? Telling me I can't go into a courtroom I was ordered to go into. On 2 separate occasions. April 9th and confirmation of that on April 11th. With a room full of social workers, including the first acting social worker to my daughter with her file back in 2010. Okay? They can't say they didn't get that one that's dealing with her right now. Can't not say she did not get that information. It is not my responsibility to get that information and go hand deliver it to her and give it to her so that she knows I'm showing up on court today, May 9th. But she's trying to play it off like she didn't get the information. How is that possible? You telling me you got 25 social workers going in and out of court, 40 cases later, and my file got, my daughter's file and your file got left behind because you weren't there to bring it with you? When you got acting supervisors there picking up all the paperwork and dropping it off on the tables, the lawyer didn't get the information? All of a sudden my daughter's lawyer didn't get the information? Is it one of those things where the paper just kind of gets lost and you just don't get it? You just don't get it, right? You don't get the paper. It's not our fault. We didn't know. This is what you call psychological warfare. It's a form of terrorism. Homegrown terrorism. It's based on discrimination. It's based on racism. They're discriminating against my children because they're minorities, and some of them have disabilities. They're definitely acting like racists. And just because they throw in a Punjabi woman does not mean that they're not racists. They operate under institutional racism that allows it to continue. And this is psychological warfare on my family, on my teenagers. So when a judge says, I'm sorry, you can't be here because you're too young to handle the truth, when in fact she lives with that truth every single day when she wakes up and before she goes to bed, she's reminded of the truth these people perpetrate on my family. But she's not allowed to sit in some funky courthouse to witness the travesty of our justice system and how easy it is for these people to lie among themselves. Well, I stand by myself with my grandson's toys. It's in the box. His books. His cards that we have yet to drop off, because when we do, we're going together as a group. And we're going with the bullhorn. And we might even make some signs. And we will have the bells. Even if it's just a handful of us, we will come together to that ministry's office and we will hand those cards and we will ask them to be returned with Andre when he is returned home. Because we are not going to settle for less when we can have more in a rich country where children are born into freedom. So I am being attacked from professional people who like to use psychological warfare as their method of weapon. And I know I'm not alone. I know other people are experiencing this. More reason to have a review board. More reason to start getting people fired from these positions that do this kind of stuff. More reason to understand why it's being taught like this in their schools and in their colleges. More reason to hold the government accountable, or at least the ministry accountable, for this warfare that's being perpetrated on the civilians. I'm a civilian. My teenagers are a civilian. My children in general are a civilian. My grandson is a civilian. But these people that are perpetrating this, they are public sector service providers. But they've taken their positions and they've turned it into warfare. So that they can take my grandson and adopt him out to some sick fuck who can't have their own. And I purposely said it that way. Because if these people can't have their own kids, and they gotta resort to this level to get them, they're sick. And for profit. Corporate welfare. So I'm going to upload this one after the next one, after this one. And then I'm going to try and get into those videos with the all candidate talking about the issues that they were talking about. But I'll be back on this subject. And if I go to jail, The kids are primed to step up to the plate and keep up the pressure. Nelson Mandela, you gonna lock me up for 20 years? Martin Luther King, are you gonna have me just picked off? You know, this family is definitely being targeted. Definitely. Malcolm X? Kennedy? Don't tell me racism isn't involved in this. Because there is. This is a form of slavery. This is lynching. This is psychological warfare.